Hi, I'm Marcus with NME Props, and I'm going to show you how to do this brushed metal look to your helmet.
So this is everything you're going to need. The piece you're painting, black primer, the rub and buff silver leaf, a piece of scrap wood, steel wool, a couple of rags, your gloves, and of course your R2 mug. Tastes good. Okay, so first step is to paint your piece with the black primer. So make sure you do this in a well ventilated area. And here we go. Okay, now that we got it primered, we're ready to start our brushed metal look. Okay, then we can get started with the magic. So this rag is just a sock that I've cut, and I'm going to use the coarse side, the inside of the rag, to help me get those brushed look. So what I'm going to do now is get the rub and buff, apply it to the rag. That's more than what I'll need. A little bit of this stuff goes a long way. And I'm gonna get my piece of scrap wood and I'm just gonna rub it around. That way I'm gonna get it on the rag so we're not over applying it to our piece. And you want to start off with a very, very thin coat on your rag. You don't want a lot on your rag at all. That way you can control it, and it's easier to put more on than it is to take away. So here we go. Okay, so now we're just going to do light strokes to get it started. And you want to continue in the same direction the whole time. And basically what this is doing is just giving an antique look to it. It's almost the same as antiquing. So I'm just continuing to follow those same streaks. Use long, light strokes. Okay, so you're starting to see some of the strokes that I'm talking about on it. Now before you get started on the piece that you're going to use, you'll want to test this and get used to this, doing this, so you can develop your technique before you actually get started on your helmet. Now let's see. I'm going to over apply some here so I can show you. See, that's too much right there. Well, I mean it all depends on the look you're going for, but I put a lot right there so I can show you. You can get some steel wool here, and you can remove some of it with the steel wool. See how it's just coming off? That way you can reapply, kind of get it looking how you want. You can control it somewhat. Let's see, get some more lines going there. Just work this a little bit more. I'm going to remove some of this in here. I didn't like the way that was looking. Remove some of it here. It looks a little heavy. So between the two, like adding with the rag and then taking away with the steel wool, you can really control what the look you're trying to get. Now, to get into these little cracks, I'm going to have to use the angles here of the rag. But basically this is the technique I use to get that on the helmet, you know. Of course on larger surfaces it's going to be a little bit easier. This is a small piece here that I'm doing, so you know, it would take a little bit more time and probably a smaller rag to get some of these little areas in here. But actually, you know, this piece is coming out pretty good. Let's see. So basically the idea here is just brushing on a little bit of the rub and buff over a black primer, or even a flat black would work. You don't necessarily need to use primer. But that's the idea. And it comes from antiquing. This is like an antiquing technique you're using. And there you go. That's it. Brushed metal. Here, I'll go a little bit heavier just so you can see. I'm gonna add a little more rub and buff to the rag. Just a little bit. And so again, I'm going to use my board to distribute it on the rag and just apply. I can get little finer streaks like that. So, well, I'm a perfectionist. I could be at this for hours. But basically, that's it. Brushed metal. So that's a quick and easy way to get the brushed metal look on your props. Thanks for watching and happy building.